Hey y'all, little drummer boy here, and I hope you drum heads are doing well out there on this gorgeous Sunday, July 12th, 2020. Today is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, the psalmist says. Um, Today I'm going to do this is MAGA good news, MAGA CAG good news for July 2020. And we'll be looking over the accomplishments of President Trump and the MAGA agenda over the last month. Actually, a little further than the last month because I got a little bit behind. So we're going to go back to about May 30th. So let's get started. All right, May 30th, the SpaceX rocket launch. Now, wasn't that cool? I mean, it's the first time since I was born in 1970. It'll be 50 this year, giving my age away. But it's the first time since the early 70s that I remember a rocket launch from when I was a real little kid. And Mom used to have me watch the rocket launches on TV, and I would see the stages falling in the ocean. And excuse me, it was so cool to see all that again after we had a space shuttle program for 20 some years. To see the rocket launch was really cool, and I'm really excited about the Space Force. For all you Trekkies out there and all the young Trekkies and Star Wars fans out there, man, this is your chance. Go for the Space Force. It's the next frontier, and it's definitely got to be defended. On June 1st, POTUS deploys National Guard to crush Antifa and BLM rebellion. And thank God for that. And once he sent the National Guard in, the crap quit like overnight. They're not going to mess with the National Guard because they get their butts stomped in the ground. And the burning, looting, and murdering, which is really, that's what BLM really stands for. Let's face it, burning, looting, and murdering. The burning, looting, and murdering ceased pretty much overnight when Trump sent the troops in. And besides BLM, now look, Black Lives do matter, all lives matter. That includes Black Lives Matter. But Black Lives Matter as an organization is a racist domestic terrorist group that has chanted, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, and what do we want, dead cops? When do we want them? Now. And they are a fundraising wing for the Democrat Party. So if you're giving money to Black Lives Matter, if you're conservative, you're funding Joe flipping Biden. You're funding the Democrat Party. So wake up, people. Be careful where you send your money. Make sure you know who it's tied to. On June 2nd, POTUS signs a declaration of religious freedom. International religious freedom. And that's one of the things, being a Christian, that's one of the things I love Trump the most for. He's very much religious freedom. And he's not enforcing the unconstitutional Johnson Amendment that says that churches can be taxed if the pastors get political. It's an attack on free speech and an attack on freedom of religion. It's telling pastors what to say in the pulpit. And believe me, there's this misconception that pastors aren't taxed. I've got a lot of pastors in my family. They're taxed. They have to pay income tax every quarter, just like a sole proprietor or a businessman. All right. So get that out of your heads, people, that pastors don't pay taxes. That's hogwash. But the churches and other charities do not pay taxes. And that shouldn't be limited to what they say in the pulpit. It's none of the government's business what the church says in the pulpit. All right, moving right along. POTUS meets with the Secret Service, and I don't mean just with the ones that defend him regularly, but like a whole room full of them. And I know they love him, and thank God. God bless all of you in the Secret Service that protect our president. If it wasn't for you in the hand of God, someone would have already killed President Trump already. I'm sure of that. So thank you so much, Secret Service, for what you do. God bless and protect you as you bless and protect our president. On June 4th, Navy vet Michael White released from Iran thanks to President Trump. June 8th, President Trump has a 96% approval rating in the GOP. I don't know what the heck's wrong with the other 4%, but y'all need to get on board. June 8th, also 2.5, the jobs report came out, 2.5 million jobs were added in June, the highest 1-month ad in jobs history. June 14th, POTUS turns 74. How appropriate is it that Donald John Trump was born on Flag Day? Because there's no bigger patriot in the country than our volunteer stellar president. And he was born on Flag Day, and he was born on my Mama and Papa's 13th anniversary. They were married June 14th on Flag Day, 1933 in Ironton, Ohio. And President Trump was born June 14th, 1946. So shout out to Mama and Papa Fraley. And on June 18th, now President Trump, and if he hasn't got to it yet, you can also look at some of my other MAGA Good News videos. He's covering about all 50 states with millions of dollars for each state in infrastructure improvements. And there was a bunch in June. Let's see, we had $135 million to Louisiana to build an 8.3 miles of elevated highway to prevent flooding. $6.8 million to Michigan to improve the Merrimack Bridge renovation. $12 million to West Virginia DOT. And if you've ever traveled the West Virginia Turnpike, oh my gosh, I used to be a trucker, and let me tell you, they need all the money they can get. And they still charge it right on their roads. But that's common up there, up from West Virginia and on north. $11.2 million to Tennessee to install fiber optic cable from Nashville to Memphis along I-40 corridor. $34.6 million to South Carolina to build a new exit on I-77 at Rock Hill, about an hour from here. $6.2 million to Tulsa Railport. Tampa Bay Port to receive $19.9 million to improve its container facility. And I used to haul containers, and I know how important that is. And a lot of people don't know, we were always loaded going to the port. You know, we always loaded with the exports, usually like paper or lumber. A lot of times raw materials. We ship it out to China, and then they build something and ship it back. And it's actually cheaper to do it that way than to have it built here. Sadly, everybody's talking about, not buying from China, but be prepared for sticker shock if you buy everything made in the USA. Plus, trade does provide a lot of jobs for container hauler truck drivers, longshoremen, sailors, people working in the warehouse, the railroads that haul the containers. There's thousands of high-paying, good-paying jobs involved in trade as well. So I'm all for Made in America, but trade is also still very important to our economy. $73.7 million to the Puget Sound program. $79.5 million to the Port of Houston for the Barber's Cut container terminal. $65 million for Rhode Island for improvement to the 246 corridor. $25 million to North Carolina, my home state here, to complete I-74 through Cleveland, Columbus, and Robeson counties. $50 million to Nevada DOT for the I-15 Tropicana Avenue interchange, which I think is in Las Vegas probably. $71.5 million to Mississippi for Greenville bypass. $10 million to Florida for the I-4 corridor, the shortest interstate in America. It goes from like Daytona Beach through Orlando over to Tampa. It's the only interstate, actually it should be called intrastate, because it's the only interstate that doesn't go out of its state. $56.8 million to Delaware to redesign an I-95 interchange in Newcastle County. $60.7 million to Eagle County for Vail Pass. For all you skiers, you'll be happy about that. I used to be a skier, but my knees won't let me anymore. $55.15 million to Kentucky to widen Mountain Parkway. Man, that sounds like a beautiful drive, doesn't it? $38.1 million to replace 7 bridges in Maine in Kennebec, Oxford, Penobscot, and Somerset counties. $40 million to New Mexico for Ramsey Gateway project. I bet that's pretty too. New Mexico's gorgeous. $40 million to Arkansas for US 67 in Pulaski and Lonoke counties. On July 1st, President Trump announces veto of Pocahontas Warren's bill that would change the name of historic bases named after Confederate generals, like Fort Bragg here in North Carolina. These bases have been named these names over 100 years, and they have so much history. Both the world wars were won out of these. A lot of these bases are airborne is out of Fort Bragg. The names themselves are historic, and let's face it, these Confederate generals, they served in the U.S. Army a lot more decades than they served the 4 years in the Confederate Army. So let's not forget that. And in 1929, Congress voted that all Civil War veterans were American veterans, including Confederates. So they were welcomed back in. And so there's no reason these historic names should be changed. I'm against cancel culture 100% I love history, and we need to remember all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. What's next? They're going to take down Auschwitz or Dachau so people can't see the horror of the Holocaust. We need to be reminded of these things, good and bad. July 1st, POTUS announced, I already did that one. POTUS signs an executive order that anyone who tears down a federal statue receives 10 years in prison, and that's great. That's absolutely great. And once again, once POTUS made that executive order, strange how all the tearing down of the statues stopped overnight like that. POTUS meets with Korean War veterans to mark the 70th anniversary of the start of that war in 1950. They seemed really grateful to meet him too. A record $131 million raised for the Trump campaign in June. That's a record. Take that, Biden. Good luck competing against that kind of money with your 11 million or whatever it is you have. Although I'm sure Black Lives Matter is giving you tons of money. July 2nd, POTUS releases new commercial highlighting Biden's support of defund the police. How dumb is that? Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters? Who you going to call? You better be armed. A lot of us are, but still, we need our law enforcement. There's good and bad in every profession, but law enforcement and military are necessary in a fallen world. Until Jesus comes back to set up his kingdom, we're always going to need law enforcement and military. A record 4.8 million jobs added in June. I think I might have already said that. Anyway, it's worth reiterating. POTUS gives an amazing speech on patriotism at Mount Rushmore on July 4th. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Watch the whole thing. Because if you listen to the fake news, and there's a reason we call them fake news. If you listen to the fake news, you will know you've been lied to. You've been had. Because the fake news, here's how they reported. They counted on you people not watching Trump's speech, 4th of July speech. The fake news said that President Trump his speech was praise of Confederate traitors. President Trump didn't even mention any Confederate soldiers or generals in his speech. It was about Lincoln, Washington, Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, the ones on Mount Rushmore. It was about American heroes, all different kinds of American heroes. It had nothing to do with the Confederates, and the media, counting on you to not watch it, straight lied through their teeth about what Trump's speech was about. It was his Gettysburg Address. It was the highlight of his administration. It was the best speech he ever gave. Watch President Trump's speech at Mount Rushmore for the 4th. The fireworks show and the music is great too. And ironically, during the fireworks show, he had Charlie Daniels Band in America playing as they did fireworks over Mount Rushmore. And then his friend Charlie Daniels died a few days later. And I know Charlie must have been so blessed that the president used his music during the fireworks show. The NASDAQ hits an all-time record high on July 6th. Trump 2020, baby. Henry Ford Healthcare. Now, this is good, but it also pisses me off. Henry Ford Healthcare System shows that the Trump malaria drug works to cure coronavirus. Well, we've been knowing that for a long time, And some doctors are now saying that people have died because the Democrats played politics with this 65-year-old safe malaria drug that's been known to save lives of corona patients. And the Democrats and the media, the fake news, played politics with that drug and the use of it, and many people have died as a result. Remember, in November, 51 million jobs were saved by PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. July 8th, the death rate from the Wuhan virus is down tenfold. July 9th, POTUS signs executive order for Hispanic Prosperity Initiative. Oh, that mean old Trump, mean old racist Trump, trying to help Hispanics more than he's already helped them. He already gave minorities the lowest unemployment rate in history, and here he is trying to help them some more. That mean old racist Trump. POTUS approves $43 million to Michigan to recover from the flooding that happened when the dam broke up there. POTUS travels to Florida, where he protected 3.2 million jobs with PPP and gave over 11 million Floridians $18 billion in relief. And last but not least, POTUS commuted the sentence of Roger Stone, and he needs to pardon hero General Flynn, Paul Manafort, George Papadopoulos, and his backstabbing lawyer, Michael Cohen. He needs to pardon every one of them because there was never probable cause for President Trump to be investigated. No basis, no probable cause for a crime. And there was certainly, and the scope of the investigation was supposed to be Trump-Russia collusion, right? So why did they go chasing rabbits and start going after Manafort's finances and, you know, all these different things? And they got Stone and our 34-year war hero, American hero, General Flynn. They got them both on flipping process crimes. And so it's just ridiculous. None of them should have ever been investigated. They should all be exonerated and pardoned. And GoFundMe pages should be started to, like Job in the Bible, to bless them with more than they ever had before. President Trump is the most investigated person in history without probable cause for crime since Jesus. And I pray that Jesus will continue to bless and protect President Trump, his administration, and his stellar family, and bless him for all the crap and incoming they've taken for us. He's a volunteer president, didn't need this gig, and he loves America, though, and he took this gig to save it, working his butt off for free, nonstop, and taking all the income he's taken. So may God bless him, and may God defeat all the enemies of President Trump, America, Israel, life, the Bible, and the Constitution. Hallelujah and amen. Like, subscribe, and share if you like my content, y'all. This is MAGA Good News, July 2020. Love ya. Peace. Bye.